What's going on, guys? It's Panjno here, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys an FPS guide on Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Now, it's been a while since I've made an FPS guide video, and this has been a much requested one, and there are so many forums on Reddit and stuff, and posts and videos going around showing small little tips and tricks on how to get the best FPS, and I thought in this video I'd take the best ones that I've tested, tried, and given me the best results, and compiled them into a video for you guys. So if you haven't watched anything like that, or you want pretty much a compilation of all the little tips and tricks you can possibly do to improve your FPS, this is the video for you. We're going to get straight into it just after this. Make sure you guys share this video, like this video if it works. Also feel free to go into the comment section below and ask any questions, or if you need any help, or if you want to help out other people, anything like that. That's what the comment section there is for. Make sure to share this around to people that don't already have it, and also post the results as well. I'm intrigued to see how much more your FPS has gone up by this video guide. But yeah, your results might be great, you might be small, but I guarantee you there will be an increase in FPS, and it will be awesome to find out what it is. So let's get straight into the video. Okay, starting off, first step, what you need to do is you need to install a Autoexec config, which has been put into the FPS guide, which has been provided in the description below. All you got to do is head on down there, download the RAR file, extract it, and you will be greeted with this. There might be more stuff in this as the tutorial goes on, so that's completely fine if yours has a few more things in it than this. First off, what you need to do is you need to go down into your file explorer. Just do that via Windows 10, or just get into this screen if your computer's any different. Then what you need to do is you need to head on to where your Steam's installed. So mine's in my local disk, program files x86. Scroll down to Steam, then go into the user data folder. Now inside here you might have more than one folder, you might have one, you might have multiple. Just find out which account is your main account, or whichever account you play CS on, and go into that one. You can do that pretty easily just by Googling how to find your Steam ID, and you'll be able to find it. Then what you need to do is go into the 730 folder, go to local, go to CFG, and inside of here you might not have as many files as this. You probably won't have the Autoexec config. What you need to do then is you just need to drag the Autoexec from in here and dump it into here. Now basically inside of this Autoexec, it's pretty simple. Just runs a few commands, saves you having to put extra shit in the console in case it doesn't actually like work via your config. So what it'll do is it'll run these commands every time the game's booted. FPS max. You can change that if you want to cap your frame rate. I wouldn't really recommend doing it, but if you want to, then go ahead and do it. Salesforce preload, Mac U mode, just stuff like that. It really helps with FPS, and especially stuff like this. And yeah, you'll notice a big change just from doing this. So once that's installed, you're completely fine, and we can move on to the next step. Okay, so once that's done, you can now go on to making your launch options. Now I'm already aware that, like, if you have looked at any other FPS guides and stuff, you probably have already done these steps before, but it's just best to do them right. So what you need to do now is go into the launch options creator.txt, and this will basically explain further detail on how to create yours. So basically you need to find out how many CPU cores your CPU has, the refresh rate of your monitor, and you're pretty much good to go at that point. So for me, my launch options are going to be like this. You're going to copy these and just change how many CPU cores you have. So if you have a dual core, it'll be 2. If you have a quad, 4. For me, I have a hex core, that's 6. If you have any AMD processors, you might have 8, so that would be, 8. Same for your screen refresh rate. You want to change that to here. That shouldn't say hertz. There we go. I'll save that now. Seals won't. So if you want it 60, or if 120 or 144, you want to change that to your corresponding refresh rate, and you're pretty much good to go. Once you've done that, all you're going to do is hit copy on there. Once you've done your launch options, head on into Steam, right click on Counter-Strike Global Offensive, go to properties, set launch options, and inside of here you just want to do a quick copy and paste and press the OK button, and you're pretty much good to go. Next, what we're going to be doing is going into your Windows power options. Just go into the search bar in the bottom, search power, and go into the power options tab there. Now yours is more than likely going to be on balanced or power saver if you haven't been into here before. Just simply put it onto high performance. If high performance isn't there, it might be on hide additional plans, so show additional plans, and high performance might be inside of there. I recommend doing that and clicking on high performance, and that'll basically allow your computer to use the right amount of resources whenever it needs to use them. It doesn't really change too much, but it basically just stops Windows from ever bottlenecking your PC or withdrawing power from it. It won't make the PC draw more power from the wall. You're completely fine in that sort of sense. Next, what we're going to go into is go on to some Windows performance stats, stuff with text and stuff, and removing stuff like that. What you need to do is you just need to go and search for this PC, or it might be computer for you. Right click on that go to properties, and you'll be taken to this screen. So if you're on an older version of Windows, doesn't matter if you're on 10, 7 or what, just get to this screen. You should really know how to do that. Once you're on here, go to Advanced System Settings. Once you're in here, go to the Advanced tab, go to Performance, and show the Settings tab. Under visual effects, I currently have let Windows choose the best of my computer, but what you want to do is you want the best performance, adjust for best performance, hit apply. Things will start to look different, text will start to look worse. Sometimes thumbnails for images disappear, but you can turn this on and off whether or not you actually need it. If you can go without having thumbnails for images and stuff, you can turn on that feature and leave the rest off. It really does help. Also with screen backgrounds, if you can adjust this to a more solid color, that can also help as well. We're talking about like a matter of like 1 or 2 frames, but you know, if you're really looking to juice the right amount of frame rate out of your game, then you're going to want to change this to a solid color rather than having some sort of fancy background. Next is a good tip. All you got to do is go on down to the search bar, type %temp% and press enter. Once you're inside of here, you can delete everything inside of this folder because it's not really needed at all, and it will save a fuck ton of space. So for you guys, I'm just going to do that now. This is all just temporary files that Windows never really uses. You can just, if any don't want to delete, just skip them because they're more than likely potentially need to be used. But you can normally delete a hell of a lot in there, especially if you haven't done it for a long time. I only did this about a week ago, so it might take a while for that stuff to delete, but make sure you get rid of that. That also speeds up, gets rid of any unnecessary bullshit files that you don't need on your computer that have been sat there for God knows how long not being used, just saving up space and slowing down your machine. Next, what you can also do is perform a Windows disk defrag. This is pretty simple to do. Go to your File Explorer again, go to the hard drive that you have your games installed on, go to Properties, and if you go into the Tools tab, you'll notice that there's also a there's an optimize and defrag drive, and I think that's normally where it is. Oh, you can do a disk cleanup here. So what I recommend doing is doing both of these. Start off with a disk cleanup, which we can do here. And this will basically run through, if you haven't done this for a while, this will take a long time to do, but just let your system do it. Once it's done, it's been done, and it's going to get rid of a whole load of rubbish that you also don't need from any other temp folders and stuff on the computer. I'm currently going to cancel this, but I'd recommend you let your PC run through that because I only did it a few days ago. Also go into the optimize and defrag drive, go into and click the C drive, and as you can see it's 0% fragmented, but you should also analyze and run a defragmentation on any of the drives or all of the drives if you can as well. That again, that takes some time, but it's definitely worth doing. I'm skipping it for this step because I literally did this a few days ago, but I needed to re-record the guide to just do some updated stuff. Next up is the Nvidia Inspector Fix for Counter-Strike. This basically optimizes the game, makes it run properly with your system, and fixes a few small little bugs. What you need to do into this is go into the Nvidia Inspector folder, which is inside the FPS guide. Once you're inside of here, run the exe and you'll be given a thing like this. If you aren't running an Nvidia card and you're running AMD, this may or may not work for you. I'm not entirely sure. You can try it, but if it doesn't let you on here, don't worry about it. You can just skip this step. So what you need to do here is go onto the driver version, press this little tool, and it'll bring you onto this page. What you need to do here is just type in Counter-Strike, and you'll be shown Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and some things will go green. This is completely fine. What you need to do now is head onto the top here where it says Add Application to Current Profile, and then what you need to do is you need to find out where your CS is installed. So for me, it's local file, it's local disk, program files x86. Scroll down to Steam, go into Steam Apps, Common, and Counter-Strike Global Offensive, CSGO.exe, open. Some things might change in here, some things might go green or grey, that's completely fine. Once that's done, you don't need to touch anything in here, just hit apply changes and it will do its thing. Okay, so after those steps, go into the CSGO FPS guide and go into the C cleaner folder, and there's also included a little setup in here so you guys don't even have to go onto Google or anything to download this, and just run it, install it. Again, doesn't matter what version of Windows you're using. If you're using anything like 7 or above, you should be completely fine. Once you've done this, just uncheck that and run C cleaner. And this is a very useful utility that I've included in most of my previous FPS guides, and it's really good for clearing shit like excess web history, temporary internet files, cookies, stuff like that for all internet browsers. All you gotta do is just let it do its thing, hit the analyze button, and I've literally just run this 2 seconds beforehand, but I actually found out I didn't press the record button, so This could take a while for you, depending on if you've done this or not, how long your PC's been up and running for since you last wiped your hard drive. It could take a long time. It won't be instant like that. There's no way in hell it will be unless you ran this literally 10 minutes ago like me. This could take up to, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. Just let it run. If it looks like it's going to take a while, just go do something else, come back. Once it's done that, once the once the analysis is complete, just hit the run cleaner button. It will say don't need to delete files. That's completely fine. Again, this might take a little while. Shouldn't take as long as the analysis, and you're completely done. There's also some registry cleaners in here. If you know what you're doing, go in there and run those. There's also some other little funky tools in here which you can have a play around with if you know what you're doing. It's a very useful free utility, so it will always benefit you in the long run. I recommend probably doing this probably like once a week if you're on your PC and not doing anything. Again, same thing for another program called Driver Booster 3. Just Google this, and I'll also include a link in the description below which you can just follow. And once it's downloaded and installed, you will be given this program. I can just open it like this, and your front page will look something like this. I have the free version. Don't worry, you don't have to pay for it. It will work just fine free. And you'll more than likely have a whole load of drivers out of date. This goes for everything, like your chipset, your sound drivers, every little driver in your PC this pretty much detects, and it will tell you whether or not it's out there if there's a newer version. This can help out a lot, surprisingly. Some people have had their machines built for a long time since the last time they updated their drivers, and this can help out a lot. What you got to do is just hit the massive red update button. I personally don't want to do it right now because I have some stuff installed on my sound driver, but I can also, I suppose I could update this one. You can update ones on their own if you really want to, and it will say activate blah blah blah. You can also continue to update without doing it, and it will give you the status up here. So that's downloading, that's completely fine. You can leave it to run just by pressing that big red button that was there, and it will do them all one after the other. Just leave your PC to do that for a while, come back once it says it's done, restart your PC, and you'll be pretty much good to go. It's a very useful utility, and there's also some few other things on here which you can go around and have a look at. Stuff like the system performance thing. I'm not going to bother with any of this myself. Game optimization, I'm not sure about. You can have a look into those things themselves. I just use it for the driver booster, and it seems to do its job pretty well, so I definitely recommend giving this a go. Okay, so next step, what we're going to do is something that gets installed with a lot of bloatware over the years, and it's going to be removing all excess start programs and services from your PC. So just right click on the taskbar and open up Task Manager, or however you do it, and go onto the Startup tab. Now this is a tab that most people normally haven't been on, surprisingly. As you can see, the status of pretty much everything on here is disabled. This is pretty much what is allowed to boot once your PC reboots. So once you go into a login, you put your password in, it starts, and you'll notice most of the time most people get loads and loads of programs booting up automatically. This is pretty much what allows it to do that. So you can go in here, anything that doesn't need to be booted automatically, click on, right click, enable or disable it, whether or not you want it or not. Like iTunes, I don't want that, that can fuck off. Microsoft OneDrive, again, don't need that. I think I just have Steam. I don't even have Steam automatically signed because I just don't see the point in it. I can run these programs manually. I'd rather not have any stupid shit running that I don't need running. So I recommend getting rid of all of that, completely disabling everything that doesn't need to be running once the system is booted. I'll leave the Nvidia stuff or the Radeon stuff, depending on what graphics card you have, and the audio stuff. Besides that, get rid of it all. There's no need to have excess programs running. Also, when the game is running, go into this little tray here and remove everything that doesn't need to be open. It's completely pointless having other things draining resources, especially if you don't even realize they're open, like Adobe application updates. That can fuck off. That does not need to be open. Again, uTorrent for me, I'm not downloading anything, so that can be removed as well. And VLC, I'm not playing anything, so you'll always catch yourself having random things open, like League, just sitting there idling. Close that. It will also help with performance on Counter-Strike and other games as well. Also, once you're in here, go to the Services tab, and if you know what you're doing, and you can have a look around about the description about what things do, like Bluetooth devices and stuff like that. I recommend stopping all of those. Manually stop excess drivers and services that you don't need running, that you look at and just think, no, I don't need that. Don't play around with it too much. If you don't know what you're doing, stay away from this completely. It's literally a matter of a few FPS. Sometimes maybe not even any, but if you know what you're doing, have a play around. It's always worth doing. Okay, so next step is going to be one of the most important ones, and it's enabling MSI Mode on your graphics card. That will basically allow the graphics card and the CPU to communicate a lot faster and a lot less unrestricted. So, What you need to do, by the way, this is completely safe. Nothing bad will happen to either thing. It's just better to have Windows running like this. And it's a rather lengthy part of the video, but it's definitely worth doing because it will probably give you the biggest boost in FPS, and not many guides show this at all. So first off, what you need to do is you need to go onto Device Manager. So do that by going to your control panel, go to Hardware and Sound, and Device Manager. Pretty easy to get to there. Once you're inside of here, go to the display drivers. As you can see, I'm using an Nvidia GeForce GTX 970. Yours will probably be different, or if you're using a Radeon thing, that's completely fine. Go to the properties, go to details, and under here, device description, click hardware IDs. Now, what you need to do is keep this open and have a look at all of these. Just take note of them. Just leave this open on the side, and we can move on to the next step. And what we can do is we can then find this in the registry. Now, this is pretty easy to find, but just keep this open, don't close this off, and continue on to the next step. Okay, so you're now ready for the next part of the tutorial. What you need to do is you need to open up regedit. If you get confused any point during this part, all you got to do is just refer down to the bottom right here if it's getting confusing, and it should pretty much make sense to you. So, open up regedit. First off, what you need to do is head onto your run bar and type in run, press enter, and it will open this. Next, all you need to do is type in regedit, pretty simple, press OK, and you'll be presented with this. Now, what you need to do is you need to navigate to this directory. This will also be in the description below in case it's kind of hard to read and you want to refer to it there, whichever is easy for you. So go into HKey local machine, go into system, scroll down until you see current control set. Inside of here, go into the enum or ENUM folder. Once inside of there, go down to PCI. And this is where things are going to look confusing as hell, and you're going to be wondering what the fucking hell are you doing in this part of your computer. Don't get worried, it isn't as confusing as it looks. All you need to do is just identify where your hardware ID is inside of the PCI hardware IDs. So these are all your PCI hardware IDs. It's going to look completely confusing, but all you need to do is find this inside of here. Yours will probably be different, so just make sure they match up. So first off, what I need to do is I need to find a ven. So here we go, loads of vens here. Underscore 10DE. Yours is going to be probably completely different to this. All you need to do is just make sure any of these match up to any of these, and you've found it pretty much. And it's not this one at the top. See, as we can, it's DEV underscore 0FBB, and that's not mine, but this one right here is. So DEV underscore 13C2, that matches up. Sub SYS, and everything matches up fine. So this is my graphics card PCI folder. What you need to do is go inside of here, go inside of this next folder. Yours again will probably be called something completely different. Okay, so once you're down in device parameters, go inside of here, go inside of interrupt management, and once inside of here you need to make a new key. Yours won't say new key, I just made a mistake a minute ago. Right click and hit new. Now what this needs to be called is it needs to be called message. Make sure you do the caps in the right place as well. Message signaled. Again, this will be in the description for you just to copy and paste. It's pretty easy. Message signaled. Interrupt properties. Make sure the caps are in the right places and it looks completely fine. Make sure you completely spell checked it and everything. Once inside of there, right click, new, D-word 32-bit value, and this needs to be called MSI supported. Once inside of there, double click on it and you'll be given this screen. The value data needs to be set to 1. Make sure it's still called MSI supported. That's completely fine. And once that's done, there's nothing you need to do. There's no like exporting or anything. Just hit X, and that part is completely done. Restart your computer, and your graphics card will then be running in MSI supported mode. Okay, so once that's done, that will pretty much allow Windows to allow the CPU, GPU to communicate in a much more effective way, and this has been proven to improve people's FPS by just a fuck ton. So make sure you definitely do this part. I know it might seem a little bit confusing at first, but it's definitely worth doing.